Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mark Thompson. I am director of the Opera Theater. And down in the pit, of course, is Dr. Martha Placeris and the wonderful Florida Southern College Opera Orchestra. It's been a pleasure working with them. I also want to give a special thank you to the Branscombe staff, crew, and our artistic team. It's been a pleasure working with all of them. This process has been terrific. Speaking of process, this opera Kaleidoscope, the Impresario, the Kaleidoscope, if some of you remember, it's a kind of a toy that refracts light, and it changes shapes using mirrors and light and colors. And so the idea is that as students come in to the stage, they start to change from being students to characters in a play. So this is our opera Kaleidoscope in the beginning. Along with that, as they change from being students into the character that's coming up, we also include an opera duet from Don Giovanni, Mozart's Don Giovanni, one of the standard duets, La ci darem la mano, and I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. And then our students also, many of them had an opportunity to sing Nessun Dorma with Andrea Bocelli in Tampa not too long ago, this semester. And so we thought we would recreate Nessun Dorma for you before we get into the Impresario. Now, as we get to Nessun Dorma, I will ask for your help a little bit too. That'll be, don't worry, you don't have to speak any Italian. We'll just do something like maybe sing a melody on La, okay? And I'll get you in on that a little bit later. But right now, I want to welcome you to Opera Kaleidoscope, the Impresario, and to remind you to please put your cell phones on stun and refrain from any flash pictures. Thank you very much.
Are you really going to put the chair like that? Why do we even have a table here? It's for the gypsy. A gypsy? Like someone with a crystal ball and tarot cards or something? I don't remember seeing that in the score. That sounds like Carmen's Bizet. Hey, you two, come on up. Try to straighten it out a little bit. It's a little crooked. I think the bed should go like this.
I agree with you. This whole layout represents the solid character of the Impresario. He's got scruples, and he runs an opera company, but is woefully short of money. Scruples is frustrating because, despite the fact that they have no money, he is still responsible for a successful season.
Mozart's Impresario is about a person running the opera company, called Scruples, attempting to use two sopranos to help start their winning season with the help of a big donor to help finance their opera production.
Right, two sopranos. One is on her downward turn of fame, and the other one's an up-and-coming diva. And it later turns into a contest, kind of like anything you can do, I can do better. Romaine, get your gun.
I think I need to do my makeup.
You're so right.
Oh, I need my makeup. Yeah, hold on.
And now, we'd like to perform from Mozart's Don Giovanni, La ci darem la mano. This is where Don Giovanni entices the village maiden, Zerlina, to a party in his castle.
La ci darem la mano, la mi dirai di sì. Vedi non è lontano, partiam ben mio da qui.
Vorrei
andiamo, mio bene, a ristorar le pene d'un innocente amor. Andiamo, le pene a ristorar un innocente amor.
And now we'd like to sing for you Nessun Dorma. But in order for us to do that, we need your help as well. There's a certain chorus section in here. The aria itself is sung by a tenor, the calaf, the prince. And he's singing about the princess and about how much he loves her. And he has answered a certain, 3 riddles that the princess has set aside as criteria for someone to marry her. Well, he's answered all 3 of them. And he has told her that in order for her to marry him, she must learn his name. And he's not going to give it up. And so he's singing outside of her room, Nessun Dorma, nobody's sleeping. Okay? Now, there's a chorus section in there, and it sounds something like this. Tom, if you please. Good. Now that's the melody, all right? And I'm going to ask if you all would please sing that on la. I know we have some singers out there. We're going to try it. We're going to rehearse it once. So I'm going to ask you to please sit up straight in your chair. And here's the intro. I'll sing with you. I'll give you a cue. Ready? La, 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 la. And then that's it. No more than that. All right, because they have to go on and sing a little bit more. Okay? So here we are, Nessun Dorma.
Mr. Scruples, a contract has been signed, naming you Impresario and General Manager for the court theater for the upcoming season.
I don't believe it. Anyways, it is too late. I have made up my mind to retire to the country and farm.
I thought you'd be happy, Scruples.
Happy? My application has been subjected to such endless delays that my cash, my credit, my enthusiasm, and my patience are exhausted. I am sick and tired of all the intrigues and jealousies that plague an impresario. I repeat, I am turning farmer.
Don't I know how you feel? And if you would give me a few well-chosen roles, I will gladly shoulder all of your burdens.
My dear Bluff, we've all been through this before. If I were to allow you to sing, the public would butcher us both. Besides, I have in mind a season of classical drama which, God be praised, requires no singers.
But Scruples, the Minister of Education has decreed that the season must be entirely devoted to opera.
Opera? A ridiculous Italian disease that won't last.
Scruples, how could you say such a thing?
Opera requires too much extravagant expense.
That may have been true 30 years ago, but today, opera can be produced quite economically.
What about all the singers which opera requires?
The up-to-date impresario only engages in 3 kinds. Falling stars, whose fees have shrunk with their range. The public will accept anything from a famous name.
That is one kind.
Then, some newcomers, whose obvious shortcomings will be to your credit, since you'll be giving native town a patriotic chance. You paid them nothing.
I suppose the third group pays me.
Naturally. These are the ones who are blessed with the goods of this world rather than with talent or voice.
So that actually the low fees of your fallen stars will be paid by the rich amateurs. The singers will cost me nothing.
On the contrary, Scruples, they shall bring you in a handsome profit.
What about the costumes, the scenery, the lighting, the mob scenes?
Nothing simpler. Announce you're going to modernize opera to achieve a sense of intimate communication. You eliminate mob scenes.
Splendid way to shorten a lengthy work.
To highlight the introspective meanings and hidden conflicts, we dispense with scenery, play everything before black drapes.
That eliminates the designers and the painters.
And most of the stagehands. To promote the utmost realism, we play in modern dress. No costumes.
And no legs.
And to intensify the atmospheric moods, we put everything in very low lighting. This will save a pretty penny each week and is very desirable for most singers. What do you say to these ideas, Mr. Scruples?
I say they are deeply repugnant to everything I believe in and have fought for in this theater. Decidedly, I prefer to be a farmer than to become a party to such an utter degradation of good taste.
But Scruples, good taste is just an expression forever on the lips of those who cannot bring themselves to swallow it.
Are you seriously suggesting that I should stoop to buying success?
Is there a sure way? Oh, Scruples, if you had seen what my father had to do to make his restaurant pay, you would know. You can only afford to list foie gras and truffles on your bill of fare as long as your kitchen is turning out sausages and sauerkraut.
My poor Bluff, you yourself don't believe half of what you say. If you are really the rascal you say you are, I would urge you to forget your singing, which you should do anyway, and take over my position, though not my name.
Oh, thank you, Scruples. But I truly am an artist at heart, and I feel I can best serve you on stage. Caro mio ben, senza mio ben. You don't agree? I see you don't.
Cheer up, Bluffs. Since it doesn't make the slightest difference what either of us think, we have not even enough credit left to print the tickets, let alone undertake a season.
I know, things look very dark, Scruples, but there is a potential dawn waiting just outside. Mr. Angel has been waiting to see you for the past quarter of an hour.
Mr. Angel, the Viennese banker? That stage store contract soprano dressing rooms, what does he want?
I can guess. He was at the ministry when your license was issued and came over to see you at once. I'll show him in, but please, Scruples, do not be too hasty.
My dear director, Salzburg is indeed fortunate in its choice of an impresario. I rather envy you, you know.
I don't see why you should, but thank you just the same.
Because it happens that I need your help, and if I were in your position, I would simply help myself.
What can I do for you, Mr. Angel?
Quite a lot, Scruples, quite a lot. Between people of the world and of business, such as ourselves, preliminaries are a waste of time, so I'll get to the point.
Mr. Scruples, Mr. Angel's coming to the point.
Thank you, Bluff. Pray do, Mr. Angel.
You are probably aware that for some time I have maintained a close relationship with one of the lyric stage's brightest ornaments, Madame Goldentrill.
The Madame Goldentrill? Such singers are never heard of anymore. Truly magnificent. I remember her debut in Budapest 30 years ago. She recently retired, I believe.
Yes, and no, if you take my meaning. Confidentially, I had wished that the amenities that which I have been privileged to provide would help Madame forget the stage, but apparently she misses the thrill and is committed to making a series of farewell performances.
I see. And she would like to appear with this company?
Scruples, it is a pleasure to converse with such a perceptive person. You should have been in business. To be quite candid, my life with Madame would not be worth living unless you engage her. It'd be worth a great deal to me, I can assure you.
The truth is, the problems of repertoire.
What scruples mean, Mr. Angel, is that the repertoire in which Madame Goldenshield would naturally wish to appear in is beyond the resources of our company.
But I said it'd be worth a great deal to me. 10,000 crowns to be precise. Of course, Madame realizes that it has been quite some time since you have heard her, and that malicious tongues are never idle. So she's waiting in her carriage and is prepared to audition for you. I shall go fetch her now.
I'm afraid that...
What scruples means, Mr. Angel, is that this room is hardly suitable acoustically of Madame Goldenshield's exceptional vocal power. However, if she will overlook this inconvenience, we would be glad to hear her and renew a precious friendship.
Are you insane? Never in my life have I accepted money from a singer, and I don't propose to start now.
Please do not be angry, Scruples. 10,000 crowns is a fortune, which will allow you to redeem Madame Goldenshield's performances, which will sell out with obscure productions of artistic masterpieces which no one wants to hear.
But my principles, my ideals, my reputation. Let me go to my farm before she arrives.
You would only collide with her on the stairs. No, Scruples is not the source of money which is important, but is the purpose of where the money is put. Our church is not built on the offerings of sinners.
Perhaps, but not all sinners are singers.
Naughty, naughty, naughty Scruples. I know you've been in Salzburg at least 6 months, and you never came to call.
Forgive me, my dear, but
My dear, you must not hold it against our dear friend Scruples, who has been incredibly busy arranging all the conflicting details of a brilliant season.
What Scruples means, madam, is that he's been on the verge of paying a visit away only 100 times. Why, not only yesterday. He was wishing it might not be possible for you not to lose luster to our season.
I'm sure he was. We've always been such friends. And who are you, may I ask?
permit me to present my assistant and colleague, Madame, Mr. Bluff.
Your assistant and colleague. How nice. Such an intelligent expression.
Oh, thank you, madam. May I have your autograph?
But of course. There. Now, my dear director, I shall sing for you. I want you to hear how my voice has developed in the upper register without losing one of those dark, lustrous, pear-shaped tones for which my lower register is so famous.
I could not dream of asking an artist of your reputation to audition, Madame.
Nonsense! Are we not all professionals? Just make yourselves comfortable, and I promise you shall be amazed. told you you'd be amazed.
Madame, words fail me.
As usual, you are unapproachable, my dear.
What a voice! What a musician! What art!
Why, Mr. Bluff, how nice! I see you are a connoisseur. Now, my dear Scruples, you have heard what I can do. As my contribution to your success in Salzburg, I am prepared to accept all the dramatic leads and be content with a mere pittance. 500 crowns per week.
500 crowns, Madame, my circumstances.
Please, Scruples. It's Mr. Angel's money.
I wouldn't pay 500 crowns for the great Constrato Farinelli.
What Scruples means, madam, is that he can hardly think of money in relation to such art as yours.
Oh, my dear director. How nice. The modesty, the delicacy of your sentiments more than makes up for the modesty of your offer. I shall be happy to appear as prima donna assoluta of your distinguished company. You are a shrewd bargainer.
Yes, yes, of course. Now, my dear, if you will just wait for me in your carriage, I shall quickly drop this contract with Scruples. Then perhaps he and Mr. Bluff will join us for a little celebration.
Indeed, madam. Artists of your caliber should not be bothered with such dull business details.
What is there to discuss or to celebrate?
I agree with you, Scruples. I find business discussions too sordid for words. I hope you won't be too long, so I shall just say au revoir.
Scruples, what a difference this is going to make in my life.
And in mine.
You have been so kind and so understanding that I am emboldened to ask yet another favor.
Scruples is only too anxious to be of service, Mr. Angel. Please speak. Do.
Thank you, I shall. It turns out, though for the life of me I can't recall how, that I have a protege, a very young lady who has not yet appeared on the stage, but who possesses the most remarkable of aptitudes.
Do you mean to say that you are associating with two singers at once? I would think one was enough.
Oh, Scruples, Mr. Angel is a true patron of the arts.
Let us put it this way, I am as fascinated by Madame Goldentrill's past as I am by Miss Silverpeel's future.
And they both seem to have a distinct bearing on my immediate present.
My dear Scruples, you truly are the soul of tactful wit. And now that you have strengthened my position with Madame Goldentrill, it would do as very much for me to do as much with Miss Silverpeel.
Why don't you just build a theater of your own?
What Scruples means, Mr. Angel, is that expenses have a way of leaping right over the moon when an opera company needs to make provisions for two singers in the same company.
Mr. Bluff, just what is your position in this company? You sound to me like the prompter. You must allow me my little joke. Of course, you are quite right. The same holds true in my relations with the two ladies. I understand this so clearly that I am prepared to advance a further 15,000 crowns.
Advance, Mr. Angel.
I mean, donate. What else could I be thinking?
Do I understand you correctly, Mr. Angel? You mean that you are willing to pay 25,000 crowns to guarantee the engagement of these two ladies?
Precisely, my dear Scruples, and you can keep any profits. Mine will come from cheating my heirs and the tax collectors.
But surely there must be other conditions attached to such a princely offer.
My dear fellow, you have me all wrong. I only want to help. I believe the people are entitled to opera. And is it up to persons like myself to ensure that they get it?
There, you see, Scruples.
Of course, I shall expect a modest voice in the general policy of the theater.
There, you see, Mr. Bluff?
I have always wanted to be an impresario, and you will find that I have splendid ideas about repertory, opera in the vernacular, staging, casting, conducting, promotion, ticket sales, and cultural showmanship.
I would never have suspected it, Mr. Angel.
See. The business spaces is my specialty. We financiers know a good deal about such things, believe me. While it is true that I have no time for art or music, I understand merchandising and what the people want.
In that case, you obviously know much more than I do.
I wouldn't say that, my dear director. But to get back to Miss Silverpeel, she's waiting in the carriage, and I'd like to bring her up so you can judge for yourself whether I have an eye for talent.
She is sitting with Madame Goldentrill? Congratulations, you are either a cat or else born an impresario who could certainly give us all lessons.
Don't be silly, my dear, of course not. They each have their own carriage and their own everything else besides. Now you can see why I was so quick to grasp the point about the double expense. I will be right back.
Scruples, you must admit that our prospects were considerably brighter. Not an hour ago, we had nothing at all. And now, not only do we have 25,000 crowns, but plenty more where that came from.
True, but it only makes my farm seem so much more attractive. This whole enterprise is looking less and less like an opera company and more like
Well,
a...
now, Scruples, don't say it.
I suppose with all those crowns flying about you will want to raise. Not that I blame you.
Oh, as your right-hand man, there are many ways I can make a profit, but not all of them are entirely ethical, and I'd be reluctant to take advantage of them. However, if you could see your way clear to augmenting my income by providing me some suitable roles at modest fees...
No. My poor bluff, that would be the greatest fraud of all. What a pair we are. You haven't the nerve to carry out your bluffs, and I've seemed to lost the courage of my scruples.
Gentle people, this is Miss Silverpeel, and I can assure you that her voice matches her form. Can I say more?
If I may say so, my friends, Mr. Angel does not exaggerate, as you can plainly see, and as you shall clearly hear.
What a presence! What a temperament! What looks!
And what refreshing modesty.
Didn't I tell you? Isn't she wonderful?
What eyes! What lips! What...
Mr. Bluff, I will thank you to confine your enthusiasm to which details fall under your proper professional province.
I meant no offense, Mr. Angel. I was just taken away.
I confess, Mr. Angel, I am most favorably impressed by Miss Silverpeel. Which is why I'm ready to offer you a contract. You will start with small roles, and I will give you 250,000 crowns a week.
250 crowns a week. I have never been so insulted. Those are scullery maids' wages.
Mr. Angel, your kitchens must be sumptuous.
I know my worth, and I refuse to be cheated by unscrupulous impresarios. If you want to have me in your company, you will give me the comedic leads and 750 crowns a week and a backstage maid.
In that case, let me.
What Scruples means is... Good heavens, now I'm doing it too. What we mean, my love, is that, though unusual, I shall try to persuade my good friend Scruples into giving you 750 crowns a week, star billing, but I will provide the maid.
So you'll provide the maid? Charming! That's why I was to wait downstairs? Well, you arranged for this little turnip to get more than was offered to me?
Madame, pray compose yourself. It is quite simple.
Yes, my dear, I can explain everything. I was just finalizing the terms of our contract with Scruples when this young lady arrived to audition for soubrette parts. Because he values my judgment, Scruples begged me to stay and lend him my opinion. That's all there was to it. Right, my dear Scruples?
Mr. Angel, do you happen to know if music can help stimulate a chicken to produce eggs?
Really, my dear fellow, what are you talking about?
Some of the most progressive farmers believe that music has the most favorable expression on a cow's production of milk. So I was wondering, is it not the same for chickens? Eggs, not milk, of course.
Speaking about chickens, you haven't explained about the 750 crowns a week. I'm waiting.
My dear, it's perfectly obvious. I only backed up this young lady's demand so I can raise your fees in proportion.
Scruples, I always understood you knew your business. Do I have to point out to you that this amateur has no experience, no technique, and no method?
My nephew's flexibility explains my versatility.
A leading role requires some soul and breath control.
I have the very best instruction.
Maybe not in voice production.
Although what else to
My voice has great condition.
artists strive
I
for
train with
monarchy.
repetition.
These
What I
no
have
discussions beneficent.
my
These
technique is
get too
only
patient, inefficient, insufficient.
I'll have you note the perfect diction to which my lips express its worth.
I have no fear of contradiction. 'Tis the worst I've ever heard.
Pray calm yourself, ignore her course. This is so susceptible to forceless. You lack finesse, yet must be heard.
My diction causes
Pray
no
calm
constraint.
yourself.
Shall slowly my self-supreme how does it not? I have no fear of too much. Does it be just like my
Once you have
piano, piano, calando, mancando, diminuendo, decrescendo, pian piano, pianissimo, pianissimo, pianissimo. Well, Scruples, what do you say to my handling of that discussion?
Frankly, Mr. Angel, I paid very little attention. The truth is that the entire squabble filled me with an overwhelming nostalgia for my peaceful barnyard.
I settled who is the prima donna of this company. Did you notice my staccato F? My sustained high E flat?
Flat? Yes. High E? Never. I don't know who you are or what you are doing here, but I am the leading comedienne of this company, and I am being paid no less than 750 crowns a week.
Well, let me tell you that I am the leading tragedienne of this company, and I am being paid more than you, whatever it is, or whoever you are. I am the Madame Goldentrip.
Never heard of her. Obviously before my time.
Ladies! 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 Your hats.
Why don't we settle this little discussion on a business basis? Scruples, why don't you pay both ladies 1,000 crowns a week, give them star billing, and print their names in type larger than both the authors and composers combined?
Larger than the conductors and all the tragic leads.
Larger than the directors and all the comic leads.
That settles it. All we need now is to sign the contract. What do you say to my methods, my dear director?
I must confess that they get a type of result, but before we sign any contracts, I wish to make an announcement. I am doing what I have dreamed of doing for years. I am retiring as impresario of this and of any other opera company.
You're joking!
Not at all. I'm retiring to the farm in the country where I shall produce nothing but a series of tranquil pastorals.
No!
You would desert us? Leave us in the lurch?
By no means. I hereby appoint my assistant and colleague of many years, Mr. Bluff, as my successor.
Oh, thank you, Scruples. But this whole ordeal has really convinced me I'd be so much happier on stage than I ever could be in administrative offices, at least until I retire as a singer.
I was afraid of that.
So, as my first act as impresario, I engage myself as leading buffo baritone for the upcoming season. And for my final act as impresario, I engage Mr. Angel as the next impresario, effective immediately.
I knew my confidence in you was not mistaken. Bravo.
Of course, this takes me quite by surprise, but to a businessman, opera presents no real challenges. Once I get the company on a business basis, I shall be able to easily run it in my spare time.
Mr. Scruples, we will miss your broad experience.
Miss Silverpeel, you're a best proof that experience is superfluous.
But what will happen to art and music when an impresario like you is gone? Opera needs you, Scruples.
Do not worry about art and music, madame. It has endured for centuries. And not despite of individuals, but because of. Opera will again, as in the past, have good and bad impresarios. But quacks cannot destroy good medicine more than false prophets can dictate religion. Opera, madame, occasionally loses skirmishes, but it invariably wins the battle for survival. And so, my friends, I bid you all a very good day, and I wish you all the success you so richly deserve.
My friends, we shall strive to maintain such high standards of which my distinguished, though not immediate, predecessor dedicated his life.
Here.
Though, let me make it clear that I will tolerate no infractions on the most business-like discipline. Nobody took Scruples' repeated threats of retirement seriously, and let me assure you, should I retire, my backing will accompany me. And where will you be then?
Allow me to be the first to assure you of my wholehearted cooperation. I shall be happy with any roles you may assign me. And I think that my managerial advice will prove you invaluable.
Mr. Angel, I agree with Mr. Bluff. I'm quite prepared to take such lesser roles as my inexperience may dictate. With full salary and top billing, of course.
I assume no one would dream of asking me to sing minor roles. However, I am perfectly willing to limit myself to 2 farewell performances this year. Naturally, with 1,000 crowns per week and star status for the whole season.
It is truly inspiring how putting opera on a business basis can harmonize the most discordant of conflicts.
Let us toast to the indispensable man, the impresario, whoever he may be.
Past
Present.
and future.
The impresario!
Not depressed. We will cut the breathing spaces. Real artists never rest. Now we're on a business basis, so my friends, may I suggest you take care to do your best. I advise complete submission. Stitch your bags onto the wall. Treat each one with deep suspicion. Lay the name and politician. For the business in tone has been made its first goal. You are bound to be defeated. Art has seen your kind before, but no doubt there will be more. On the public can be cheated. There are thousand checks to sort. They will never want more. For the artist that they printed with the Opera's not such an operation. You just make sure your tones are round, and that, like mine, your method sound. Bluff is a name destined to fame. On great acclaim, my life will be one long ovation. You'll never see this bluffing. That was a D
yet I'm scarcely puffing. My notes make plain, though all too few to persons of good taste like you, that I'll teach them a thing or two.
Don't leave your kids here by the way.